Setzer's World of Camping. Today we're going to be reviewing the Salem FSX 266 BHLE. Starting off here in the front of the unit, going to have your manual jack for raising and lowering respectively, just like so. Now right behind that is going to be your 4.5 gallon propane tank. It's going to be a single one on this unit. What it's controlled by is a propane or pressure regulator. So what that's going to do is it's going to regulate the propane coming out of here and through the line to the rest of your system. Make sure it's an even draw. Whenever you have this open, or if you don't have a power to anything, via the furnace or anything like that, make sure your propane's one out here, everything's flowing, or make sure your tank's not empty as well. Now right behind your propane tank, you're going to have your 12 volt deep cycle marine battery. This battery is going to power everything on the camper. Now behind with the battery, going to have a battery disconnect switch on this unit as well. So what that's going to do is that's going to disconnect power from the battery to the unit. Now the only time you ever really want to do that is whenever you're winterizing the camper, or you're going to be not using the camper at all, because if you're connected via shore power, what that shore power cord is going to do is it's going to trickle charge your battery through the unit, the same as if you have the camper plugged in. So when you're underway and on the road, make sure you have your battery disconnect on, so that your battery's connected and it's also charging through the cable that way. Now coming on behind the unit here, you're going to have your first compartment right here on the left hand side. Inside this, whenever you first get the camper, is going to be this little box right here. So this could be your RV starter kit. Inside your RV starter kit is going to be a few things. Starting off, you're going to have what we call, or like to call, the Stinky Slinky. This here is going to be your waste disposal tube. You'll hook it onto the unit and then put it into the waste disposal. A couple things with your waste disposal. So waste disposal will be your black water tank. So with your black water tank, whenever you first go to use the unit, what you're going to want to do is put a couple ounces of this bio pouch in here with about 3 gallons of water and flush it down the toilet. What that's going to do is it's going to allow that bio pouch to degrade any material, waste material, toilet paper like that goes into the toilet. And it's going to make sure that it breaks down, so whenever you go to flush the toilet in the unit, everything comes out smoothly and there's no buildup on the 3 sensors that are going to measure the waste level inside your camper. So as you do that, every time that you go to dump your waste, make sure that your gray tank and black tank are completely full, even if they're not when you go to dump. So that means go ahead and hook up water and run water down the sink or down the toilet to make sure your gray and black water tanks are full. So what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that all the waste flows out and there's not like too less of water or more waste. So you want to make sure that you do your black tank first, followed by the gray tank. That's what that's going to do, is it's going to flush out that black water tank or the valve and make sure there's no leftover smelly debris in there. Now along with that, it's the waste disposal. 2-ply toilet paper is what we recommend you use inside of your camper. As what this 2-ply toilet paper is going to do is it's going to break down a lot better with that bio pouch and allow it to pass and not gunk up anything. Also in here, going to have a water pressure regulator. This is going to go on any hose that you put into the camper that puts water into this unit. So what that's going to do is it's going to regulate the water pressure from the city or wherever you're getting your water to a standard of about 45 to 50 some PSI to allow it to not burst any of your pipes going into the unit. Also in here, the said water hose, it's going to be a drinkable water hose. So this is rated to drink water through. You'll use this to put water into your unit. This here is going to be a 30 amp power supply to a household adapter. Your power supply, your 30 amp power supply will plug in here, and this will go into your household adapter. Do not plug it into an extension cord, as you will fry the extension cord. Plug it directly into an outlet for the house. Now also inside of this little compartment is going to be your spare tire, which was showed in the beginning. You're going to have some other stuff in there like your shore power cable, 30 amp power supply. Now also underneath here, just underneath this compartment, there's going to be one of 4 stabilizer jacks. These are just going to be mainly for stabilizing units so you don't get any side-to-side sway. Now coming along the rest of the side of the unit, going to have a couple things. This is a 2-axle unit. So on this unit you have 4 tires. So generally they recommend twice a year to check your tire pressure. I recommend every trip. Give it a PSI, a test. Make sure you check your tire wall. Check the PSI. Most are 65, and I believe it is on this unit as well. For your lug nuts, these are going to be 100 foot-pounds of torque per lug nut. So whenever you hard brake or anything like that, that can loosen your lug nuts and allow a little bit of slippage. So make sure that you go through and tighten those. I also recommend every trip, at least twice a year. Now coming along the back here, we're going to have several different little dials and such. The first one here is going to be your 30 amp power supply. This is going to be where your shore power is. So you'll plug in right here for the shore power connection. Now up underneath it here, or actually right here, this white one's going to be your city water connection. This is going to be a black tank flush. Your city water connection, what that does is it bypasses the fresh water tank and supplies water directly through the unit, through the water pump. So this way, if you have fresh water in your holding tank and you don't want to use that water, you can plug in with the city water connection with your water pressure regulator, and then that way you don't use any of the tank. Underneath of that is going to be a black tank flush. And what that's going to do, this isn't actually going to flush anything in the black tank. What that's going to do is it's going to hit those 3 sensors inside that tell you the waste level in an attempt to clean them in case they're clogged up, like I was saying. So that's why you want to make sure you fill up your tank completely. Also make sure you use that 2-ply toilet paper so it breaks down and doesn't gunk up your sensors and give you a false reading. Also up underneath here, this is going to be your sewage disposal. This is your gray water tank. So it's open now. That's going to be open, close. This is your black tank. Like I was saying, you want to make sure you do your black tank first, close, and then open up your gray tank. And what that's going to do is it's going to flush and clean that off. Also on here, up underneath, is going to be your 2 low point drains. So what these low point drains are going to do, whenever you go to winterize your camper, you take these caps off. Any water that's going to be left inside of these pipes that we're supplying throughout the unit, through your sinks or anything like that, it's going to drain out this way to completely clear out the camper. This here's your rear stabilizer jack. Also here, above this side light, is going to be a cable auxiliary satellite connection when you pull into a campground. Coming along the back here, a couple things. You're going to have access for a ladder, a liquid ladder, as well as a Furrion backup camera. Those are both sold separately. Also, one little neat feature, one of my favorite things, is going to be this little end caps on either side. What you can do is you can pop these off like so, and you can put that stinky slinky in there, so that way it's out of sight and doesn't stink as much. Right here as well is going to be the third stabilizer jack, as well as your low point drain. Sorry, your propane connection right here. So it's a gas supply for a griddle, in case you have anything like that and you want to cook while you're outside. Coming along here, it's going to be your furnace vent. So whenever you're going to turn on the heat for the unit, you'll hear this kick on. The hot air coming out of here, it's going to be very hot. Coming along here is going to be your fresh water connection. So the city water connection is the one that bypasses your fresh tank. This one is the one that fills up your fresh tank. So as you're using, or as you go to fill this up, keep an eye on your fresh water gauge inside. That's going to be filling your fresh water tank, and then you can go and hook up to the city water connection so you don't use anything inside your tank. Now right up underneath of that is going to be your fresh water drain. Similar to the low point drains. It's going to be up in here. So what that's going to do, it's going to be like your low point drains, except it's going to be for your fresh water tank. And right here, you're going to have an additional outlet for the outside. As well as right here is going to be the access for the hot water tank. So you just align that like so and drop this down. Now inside of here, you're going to have a couple things. This right here is going to be the hot water valve. So you hear that air come out. That's going to be a pressure release valve. So what that's going to do is it's going to drain and release some of that pressure. So whenever you go to take out the main bolt to drain it, what it's going to do is it's going to allow that to come off without shooting out with a lot of pressure. You're going to have your front entryway right here, as well as the other compartment with access all the way through, as well as your 4 stabilizer jack. Now that we've made our way, or done with the exterior, we're going to make our way up to the roof, take you inside. Now that we've made our way up to the roof, at least a couple times a year, you're going to want to come up here, check your roof for any kinds of damage. What you're going to be looking for is twig damage, branch damage, wind damage, UV damage, things like that. Any cracking or peeling or tearing of the awning itself or of the seal. So you're just going to go through, check for any bubbling, cracks, anything like that, any lamination. So what you're also going to use up here is going to be a self-leveling lap sealant. What that's going to do is it's going to self-level on the sides. You're going to want to use a Proflex. That's what that's going to do, is not drip down the side where it's not self-leveling. So you'll just come through and you're going to check, you know, along your side out with your seals right through here, along the seams all the way as well as around the AC unit along the top here. So you're going to look around vents, any of the PVC, like I said, any of your venting, all the way down the ends, caps. We'll make sure you do that at least twice a year. And now that we're done with the roof here, we're going to take you inside.
Go when you're ready.
Now that we're done with the outside, we're going to make our way inside. So as your first thing you notice when you come inside is going to be your control panel here. This is going to control everything from your lights from the interior. This is going to be for your water heater. This is going to turn it on for gas. This one here is going to be for the water pump. So whenever you're cycling water throughout the unit, you want to sink to work, you turn that on. This here is going to be your awning control. So one's going to be extend, one's going to be retract. As you fully extend that awning, just keep an eye on it. As you keep an eye on it, as it unrolls, make sure that you keep an eye on the bar so it doesn't fully extract. Keep an eye as well on the arms and make sure that they're not hitting anything or bending. Also on this control panel, there's going to be your battery, your fresh tank, black tanks. So what that's going to do when you press the button, as you'll see here with these indicator lights, it's going to be E for empty, 1/3, 2/3 full. That's just going to show you where your tank levels are going to be at. So coming into the rest of the unit here, it's nice and spacious, plenty of lights and everything. As you come in here too, there's going to be some storage up above as well as some coat hooks. Plenty of storage, L-shaped sectional seating, as well as a jackknifing, which is very nice, little couch in case you need a little additional storage room, or if you just need a little room to lay down. So just open this up like so and pull it out for plenty of room for the kiddos or somebody else staying along with you. The storage is just as simple as jackknifing up, pulling it down, and then readjusting your cushions like so. Gonna have also up underneath, gonna have a table in case you want to do a little dining, so you can set it up. You have a nice little family sitting here cooking. Coming along, gonna have a nice little fridge as well as a freezer. Now this will run as you're driving down the road, so you can keep your food and everything fresh and frozen. Same thing with your freezer up top here. Now up underneath of the fridge, gonna have your control panel here. So this is gonna be your AC or your fuse box as well as your breaker panel. Also, it's gonna be this right here. It's gonna be your thermostat controls for heat and cold and fan. You just press the button to cycle between cold, hot, or fan. Now coming along here, gonna have plenty of light via the skylight, which is also a vent. So you just pull this down and open it like so. Now whenever you're done with your vents, you do want to make sure that they're closed completely so no water gets inside the unit. Now behind this nice little door, it's going to be a very full-size, well-lit bathroom. Inside here is going to be your GFCI outlet reset switch. So if you trip any of the outlets, this here is going to be your outlet reset. Going to have plenty of recessed lighting as well as a additional fan. So inside this one, you can press this button and it turns on the vent fan. Lighting in here also going to have additional lighting. So for these little puck systems, you can turn these all off individually. Same for every light inside the unit here. So inside the kitchen, but before I forget, it's going to be a nice little bunkhouse back here. Plenty of room for the kiddos up top and down below. This one will fold down just like, and then lay down here. Otherwise, you have plenty of storage and access under the bed for storage up underneath there. Also, little additional side cabinets for pantry, storage, spices, things like that. Now, looking outside the bay window, you have plenty of space here on the countertop to prep meals, as well as your stovetop and convection oven / microwave. Now, gonna have your nice full-size storage under here, as well as plenty of drawers for silverware plates, anything like that. Now, also inside of here, this is your AC unit for the unit. So what this does, whenever you have your AC on, there's two modes to this. So if these vents are open like so, what that's going to do is it's going to force mass air out of these holes. Otherwise, if you close these vents like this, it's going to push them through these white vents that are going to be scattered throughout the unit. Also, on the top here, safety is always king. So this here is going to be a smoke alarm. Make sure that you test your batteries regularly on that. And then down below right here is going to be LP gas detector. The reason it's down low is because gas sinks to the floor. Also, Right here is going to be a fire extinguisher. Make sure you give that a flip every couple months just to get the chemicals loosened in there. Now coming into this big bedroom right here, going to be plenty of light from the 2 pucks as well as the lighting from both sides of the unit here. Going to allow plenty of natural lighting in. Also, with this, there are going to be a couple things. On each side, you're going to have these USBs right here, as well as a Type-C. So if you need to charge your phone, tablets, anything like that, plenty of that. GFCI outlets as well. Up here, going to have an outlet for your power as well as satellite auxiliary control. And you can mount a TV here, so you just get a little bracket and it'll use standard VESA mounting. Inside of these, going to have plenty of storage. These cabinet tops right here, as well as up underneath of the bed. You'll just lift up. You'll have access to that front compartment in case you need to throw dirty laundry or anything up there, as well as shoe rack and storage space up underneath. And that's been the 266 BHLE. Thank you for shopping here at SETZER'S Camping.